It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Get the live Lauderdale by the Sea cam up at the Windjammer Hotel. Great little place there. If you're ever coming to Florida, nice place to stay as well. Well, let's take a look at spots today, and meanwhile, I kind of feel we're in the waiting place right now. Metals are kind of sideways, down a little bit, but markets across the board, even the equity markets seem to be a bit sideways today on the downside. Crypto's got pretty much hammered, and let's see what else is going on here. But the waiting place by Dr. Seuss is probably a great description of what the entire world is doing right now, waiting for things to happen, waiting, instead of taking control and doing things themselves, they're waiting for things to happen. And I think that's what we're doing with markets anyway. Well, what can you do with markets right now except for wait for something to happen? And indeed, something will happen, and let's see what's happening today. In fact, I'm going to do a quick refresh here, and let's do that. And I'm going to also expand my page a little bit there as well. There we go. Take a look here. Gold currently 1834.64, a little bit down from the high yesterday, I think, which was 1846 or something like that. A low of 1830 and a high of 1843. Again, sitting above its moving average, which I think 200-day moving average, which is I believe 1810 or something like that. I've got to double check that. But currently sitting at 1834, looking okay, down a little bit from its high overnight. Silver, the same thing, a low of 24.29, a high of 24.59. Silver was pretty much making its way to its 200-day moving average. I think, which was it, around 24.70 or something like that. But no less, we're getting there. Down about 14 cents, sitting at 24.35 right now. And platinum hanging on to that mid 1050 or mid $1,000 to $1,100 level right there at 1039. I think it was 1050. Yeah, 1053 is the high. So I mean, it's kind of everything sideways. Nothing serious here. No serious monkey hammering. And let's take a look at just the 24-hour charts. I'm going to do it quick. Let's see if and when any action. It kind of just looks sideways to me. Let me do a kind of plus there and make that a little larger to see. And here we are in the green today. It looks like we had a little knock from that 1840 to the $10 movement, nothing major, and then she's kind of drifted her way back up to where we are currently today. It looks like though gold and silver, or gold particularly, we'll take a look at silver, did see some monkey hammering in the, no, not really. It looks like it was up overall in New York and then kind of down a little bit here. Again, trading in a pretty tight range there, so we're kind of in the waiting place, I think. Let's see what happens Sunday night, Monday. Although we haven't seen monkey hammering happening in the evening trading hours on Sunday nights, so I don't know. Can we see it again happen? Perhaps if things get out of their control. That's a possibility. Well, let's take a look at silver market here and see what the silver's doing. Silver kind of sitting more on the sideways level. Take a look at that. We had that nice up day yesterday, brought it up to the 2460 level, and kind of tapered off to that 2440 where we kind of sit today. Again, the waiting play is very unusual. These markets, the last few months, and particularly the last week or so, have been very, very strange, especially when you're looking at the 24-hour chart, seeing when this activity occurs, how when it has gotten monkey hammered, it's snapped back pretty quickly. Silver is showing some very good strength. We've talked about BOFA, the Bank of America silver short position that Ted Butler talks about being about 800 million ounces. My speculation was possibly, again, I believe that from what I understand is that they did sell that 800. They borrowed the metal from JP, and it wasn't just like a COMEX. That COMEX doesn't even own the silver. They just it wasn't like a COMEX trade. It was directly done with JP, with Bank of America, where they borrowed physical. They literally borrowed 800 million ounces or around that area, and the presumption is that they sold it. And why would they sell it? Not to knock markets down, probably because they had an opportunity to make money on that trade somehow, and they were presuming that silver was going to stay the same or go down. Now, Again, I don't know all the details, and I told you yesterday I would try to email Ted Butler, and I did not get a chance to do that. I've been pretty busy here. But I'd like to email him and get some more answers on did Bank of America sell that silver into the open market? Did they spread it out over the course of 2021? If they did, that would explain why we had a suck year for silver in 2021. It wasn't because, mostly because they sold 800, almost a year's worth of mining supply, or a year's worth of mining supply into the market. But again, I'm kind of digressing there. There's a lot of possibilities here. But I like what I'm seeing with silver. We're kind of steady as she goes, and we're looking at, again, right now we're in the waiting place to see what happens. I think that the same thing with equity markets. It's kind of balanced out a little bit. Take a look at that, a little bit sideways. No, not really a dead cat bounce today or anything like that. However, that chart looks pretty grim if you take a look at it. Hang on one second. Let's go over to the 1 month and see what we're looking like here over the course of the month. So the Dow overall, not looking kind of grim. So is the S&P overall. Look at that. Wow. I think they're in the waiting place right now, but I don't think they're seeing the dip buyers that they expected. And poor crypto. Crypto's not seeing any dip buyers at this level. I should say poor crypto. I mean, you know, if you got into that casino-like market, then you've got to have your big boy or your big girl britches on. You know what I'm saying? But look at that, 10% down overnight. The volatility of that is just insane, in my opinion. But, kind of wondering what's going on there. It looks like the whales are leaving the retail hodlers holding the bag. It appears to be. I mean, listen, if you own the stuff and you had a chance to get down to 60 and you watch it go down to 50 and then lower and lower and you didn't sell, really, I don't know, man. It's too volatile to be considered a long-term hold. It's too new to be considered a long-term hold. I mean, this stuff could just evaporate for any number of reasons. Bitcoin still has decades to prove itself, and probably, centuries to prove itself before it even gets to the level of gold. Despite what we've been hearing, the nonsense we've been hearing for the last couple of years, trying to compare crypto to gold, and even the insane claim that it's even better. That's just nuts. Well, anyways, but if you made money on it, again, I'm a capitalist and free market capitalist, and I think that as long as the market harms no one and doesn't make other than them knowing the risk, not knowing the risk, and the risk, everyone knows the risk with cryptos, So if they got in, you lose money, they've only hurt themselves, and that's, that's okay. We should be allowed to do that with our money. They allow us to walk in the casinos, right? So, I'm not bad with it. I'm pretty good, especially if people make money. I like hearing people make money on this kind of stuff. I also like to hear when my friends go to casinos, they make a lot of money too. So I feel the same way. I'm a capitalist. Again, if you can do it, you know how the game is rigged, then more power to you. But they are getting pretty much hammered. And speaking of hammered, let's talk about some, there's a couple crypto things here I want to talk about real quick. It's gata.org. But before I get there, I just want to tell you, I saw a couple sign-ups here. We are on GATDR Getter now, and I will try to answer. I know 11 followers, but hey, that's not bad for one day. But you can reach us here, kind of. We're posting our videos out there just to kind of get a little more exposure, and we'll probably answer questions that we see out there as well, if you tag us and that kind of thing. I think it's similar to a Twitter deal, but less bullshit. Let's take a look at gata.org. and see what's going on there. The New York Sun wrote an article, "The Fed and Crypto Back to Basics." It's kind of the frightening part of cryptos, which I've been talking about for some time here. And let's read this real quick, and I'm going to blow that up a little bit. It's not a long article, and could the announcement of the Federal Reserve is weighing the pros and cons of issuing a digital currency be a chance to move center stage of the question of monetary reform? That is our optimistic interpretation of the discussion paper issued this afternoon by the central bank, where it will soon be confronted with the question of how a digital dollar might or might not be defined and who defines it. One of the things I've been concerned is that, and it's conspiracy on my part, but I felt that cryptos are probably rolled out to get people used to the Great Reset, which is going to be the Federal Reserve or central banks trying to print their own currency. and doing it digitally, which basically means that if they don't like you, they'll they'll just take everything you own. Okay, and we've seen examples of this out there. You know, they'll deplatform your financial ass quicker than shit. This is why I am not for a federal digital currency, a central bank digital currency, a government digital currency. I am not for it. We already have credit cards. I don't mean. Maybe credit cards can become cheaper. There's different ways to making peer-to-peer payments. But as far as trusting the government producing their currency in cryptos, no way. I want a paper dollar. You know, I don't want to wake up one morning and find out I said something they didn't like and all my freaking money's gone. And that's where it's going, folks. And let me read this right here. The way the federal... At least there'll be gold and silver. But I'll have to sell it somewhere for a federal crypto dollar, god damn it. So that's why I'm against that stuff. It's just bad, bad, bad. Hey, listen, the paper dollar that we have, that we circulate, you know, it's basically, it's still fiat, but at least you can't get it taken away from you unless they physically come and pull it out of your pockets. I mean, there's an advantage to cash, folks. That's why they're trying to get us to be a cashless society, because in a cash society, they can't control you. They can't control the people. In a cashless society, they can control people easily, okay? So that's kind of where they're headed to. They want to be able to have control. It has nothing to do with convenience. It has nothing to do with being better. It has nothing to do with the modern age. It has everything to do with control. All right, let me keep reading here. The way the Federal Reserve Board is retailing the demarc is that paper, sorry, don't know how to pronounce that word, is that the paper itself does not favor any policy outcome. Rather, the idea, however novel, is to solicit comment from the public. It calls the paper the first step in a discussion of whether and how a central bank digital currency could improve the safe and effective domestic payment system. Oh, what a nice way to say that we want to control everything you do, isn't it? Isn't that sweet? We find that less than fully candid. Now, this is the Sun, the people that wrote this, or the gentleman that wrote this, or lady that wrote this, said this. We find that less than fully candid, and I agree with them. More likely, the Fed is fretful about the greenback getting eclipsed by the tide of privately issued cryptocurrencies. It observes a wave of new private sector financial products, digital wallets, mobile payment apps, and other new digital assets. The quoted value of the total amount of crypto in existence reached $3 trillion in November. Time reports nearly 3 times the 1.2 trillion American currency is now circulating. Okay, so it's 3 times of what is actually circulating in physical cash and paper money in this country. Again, that's kind of sad and not a good thing, folks. We should have as much paper out there. But most of it's in banks, most of it's in credit card. And credit, that's where most of the circulating money is. But cash is an important thing out there, you know. If you ever get cut off from bank accounts, credit cards, complete financial system, which I think is where this is heading, and that's what they want, full control, you're going to starve, man. You're going to have to beg people for food. Maybe not. Maybe with gold you can buy something out there. The Fed has barely issued its press release today, then it was promptly met with a pesky question of the confounded Constitution. Damn that confounded Constitution, huh? The Wall Street Journal reports that some banks have already signaled they don't believe the central bank has the legal authority to issue a digital currency without authorization from Congress. Wow, there are some smart banks out there, and Wall Street Journal actually points that out, and that is absolutely true. Only Congress has the right to authorize the payment of gold and silver. Even the fiat dollar is illegal based on our Constitution, but they screwed us in 1913 by passing that and making them the controllers of our lives. But hang on one second here. And then again, also, where does Congress gain that authority if it has to issue crypto? Again, Congress's mandate in the Constitution says it has to be backed by gold and silver. Well, you see where we've gone from there. So, I mean, we're just sliding further down that hole to hell. Is not good, you know. So basically, they're not talking about doing anything different or better. They're just talking about having more control over all of us. Like I said, the fiat dollar will continue in the netherworld of cryptos or whatever, Fed cryptos, but not a good thing, folks. So you should fight it tooth and nail. Let me continue here. That's a constitutional question and an open one too. We've long nursed doubts that Congress has the power to make anything other than gold or silver coin legal tender, or to start issuing reserve notes for dollars they are not defined as a specified amount of specie. We see little but ill effect from America's plunge into the age of fiat money, during which the value of our dollar has plunged 98% to 1/184th of an ounce of gold. America was 5 years brought into the fiat currencies when in 1976, America was 5 years into the age of fiat currencies when in 1976, Friedrich Hayek brought out his immortal monograph, The Denationalization of Money. And he came out in favor of the establishment of privately issued money. Well, that would be crypto, that'd be Bitcoin, if it was indeed issued by someone that wasn't a government entity. His idea led Ron Paul and others to nurse in Congress the Free Competition and Currency Act. It would have ended the legal tender status of the government script and opened up our system to private money. I remember Ron Paul pushing that. You haven't seen that in a long time, anyone even talking about it, but let's continue on here. Plus, two, it would have ended all taxation arising from the spending of gold or silver. Well, that's a good thing. Such monetary reform measures have for more than 50 years now been met in Washington with condescension, hostility, or indifference, which is why we'd like to think the coming debate over crypto could be the beginning of a more open-minded approach to the premier question of our time, the nature of the dollar itself. Kind of a very interesting article here, and that is an interesting argument right there. What right would the Federal Reserve or what right would the Federal Reserve in the United States have to switch our U.S. dollar to a crypto type Fed dollar? They really have none. A lot of people say they don't even have the constitutional right to be doing what they're doing. Our Constitution does say Congress shall only make payment in gold and silver. And the reason they said that is because they had issued a fiat species. They had been down that fiat road during the Continental War, and it was called continental currency. And it was issued by the first currency issued by the United States. But the problem is they just kept, issuing more and more of it. In fact, the term for continental currency, which was a small piece of paper about the size, half of the size of an envelope, was called a shin plaster at one point because soldiers would line their boots with these things to keep their feet warm. So hence the term shin plasters. That's how worthless they become. Well, we're almost at that point too with the dollar now. Let's take a look in, and I know we kind of went off into the crypto world, but another thing that concerns me with the crypto world is visualizing the power of the world's supercomputers. Now, I just learned a little something myself. Brand new Japanese supercomputer out here that just blows everything away. The United States supercomputer. I think that's 200,795,000 terabytes. I think that is teraflops. Okay, no, 537. I'm sorry, 212 teraflops. That's 200. Look, it's more than double what we built a couple years ago. That's the Japanese supercomputer. Who knows what Chinese, Israel, or anybody else have? They may even have bigger computers. But the reason I'm bringing this up, a good article on Zero Hedge, by the way. The reason I'm bringing this up, at what point do these computers become powerful enough just to easily break the encryption? Well, I'll tell you, there's some speculation out there that some countries are working on this in the back end. Google has been working on it for some time. They came out with their quantum computer that has something like 50 qubits or something like that. Whatever a qubit is, I'm sorry. It's a core, whatever. There are 4,000. Okay. But as of right now, we're told that it would take a 4,000 qubit quantum computer to crack Bitcoin's encryption in a matter of seconds. Google has just recently come out and said they're at that 50 qubit level right now. So, I mean, think about this. 4,000 qubit quantum computer could, again, theoretically crack Bitcoin's encryption in a matter of seconds right now. And technology is increasing so fast. Is it possible that Bitcoin, there could be bad actors and bad players out there in governments, whether NSA or whether the secret clubs within governments? It may make the NSA look like a non-secret place, but are there people out there that have access to supercomputers or have these supercomputers? Or quantum computers, I guess is what we call them. It's possible. We could be near that. And again, if a 4,000 qubit quantum computer could crack Bitcoin's encryption in a matter of seconds, then, how long would it take 1,000? Just a few more seconds or something like that, 1,000 qubit quantum. So they're basically telling us we're not too far off from Bitcoin's encryption being broken. And besides, that's a bad thing too, because it's not just Bitcoin we're talking about now. We're talking about your bank account. We're talking about everything you do online. I mean, we're not too far off from that. And again, what country? Maybe North Korea, maybe Iran, maybe Russia, maybe, well, the United States, I'm sure, is working on their own supercomputer to be an offensive weapon or defensive. They'll call it defensive, but we're not too far from that point, folks, and this is a scary point in our time as well. Quantum computers could crack Bitcoin by 2022. Good article right there, and kind of scary if you think about it. Well, let me go into what I've been talking about for quite some time. The Fed's been jawboning these, raising the rates, and maybe, when I say jawboning, I don't mean that they're not going to raise rates. They're going to raise them to a meaningless level. And again, this article reminds me of those folks that kind of got tied up into that false narrative that rising rates are going to cause the price of gold to go down. Rising rates, the only way they cause the price of gold to go down is that perception that there's a yield that's a positive yield, which there is not a positive yield, but there's a positive yield with treasuries, okay? That they could put their money in treasuries and they would make something above what the inflation rate is. Except we all know that the official inflation rate and the rates that they use are bullshit, all right? They're probably double of what we're actually being told. And listen, a lot of people are waking up to learn that we've been lied to for years in economics, politics, everything. So, if the number, the data is easy to adjust or skew in their favor. And again, I believe that rates would have to rise significantly, way higher than what the Fed is even interested in, even considering in a dream. Okay, but they've got to raise the rates. They're going to raise the rates probably. They could raise it 50 basis points. Okay, and we'd still be in negative territory. I think they could raise it a couple percent. Quite honestly, I believe they could raise it a couple percent interest rates in a short period of time, and we'd still be in negative territory on treasuries. I really believe that. I believe that and I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people that are way smarter than I do believe that as well. That the rates that we are given for inflation are way lower than what they truly are. So right off the bat, that tells you that the narrative of gold going down in value because you're getting some kind of positive return is bullshit. That ain't happening for a couple reasons. Even if the data does lie, ultimately it's not going to happen. But you know what? People listen to stuff like this. People listen to articles like this. People listen. This is what you'll hear on corporate news. I think Mr. Tokic, his best intentions probably are try to educate people out there, but this sounds like something he saw on CNBC from one of their so-called gold experts or Wall Street Journal. And again, remember what I told you. I saw an article written in Wall Street Journal about gold where the author of the article is quoting somebody I know that it was just grossly not very smart. I won't say grossly, but didn't know what they were talking about. The Wall Street Journal quoted this person as an expert. And I'm reading this, and I'm saying, my God, I know that person. They're the farthest thing from an expert. So trust me, they don't know what they're talking about. And this is where guys like Damar get this thing. Real rates are rising, sell gold, under the false belief that there will actually be a positive rate on return on treasuries. And they totally ignore the fact that we've just had endless money printing going on. I mean, that's, M1, M2 are good for the price of gold. It's going to increase the price of gold overall, like it always has throughout history when compared to a fiat currency. And the other thing, too, is that they don't take into account, now this is back-end stuff, but I sincerely believe when the Fed comes out and jawbones that they're going to raise rates, that big commercial banks go in and they hammer the price of gold shortly after or before the Fed makes that announcement, just to kind of hammer that narrative to make people believe that narrative is indeed true. And you can see it when throughout the last year. Now, 2008 to 2016, every time the Fed talked about tightening, gold got hammered and stayed there for a while, stayed low. But I think at some point people are realizing, there is no real return. Even if the Fed does raise rates by 50 basis points, there's no real return. So why would you get out of gold? So we've seen overnight that that the banks, in my opinion, big commercial banks or big traders, I'm not sure who it is, go in there and they monkey, it could be government according to GATA, go in there and monkey hammer the gold and silver markets, primarily gold markets, when the Fed is about to jawbone rates up or down, okay? And then that does move the price of gold down. But if you've noticed recently, when the Fed has been jawboning these rate increases, gold takes a tiny dip and then it kind of goes back to where it was or continues to go up, which tells you that smart money is saying in gold that we don't believe these rate hikes, and we believe even if you raise the rates, it's an insignificant number compared to what you might be told is a positive return on treasuries. And again, this is the official rate. Let's take a look at it right here. This is all my opinion as well, but this is the official rate. I'm going to blow that up a little bit. And gold versus real yields, the interest rate chart is inverted, gold versus inverted real 10-year treasuries. So that little black line would normally go this way, but they're kind of showing the comparisons here. And if you take a look, let's move over here. The yield is actually gotten better. Let me take a look here. Real 10-year yields minus 104. But again, remember that minus 104 is probably basing it on, I'd have to look down here actually. Down here it probably tells us somewhere. But they're probably basing that negative yield on a 10-year treasury at 1.06 with a 2 or 2.5% inflation rate, if I remember correctly. And inflation adjusted 10-year, okay, inflation adjusted, there it is. So yeah, they are using an inflation adjusted 10-year treasury yield to show what it brings. But again, the inflation figures they use are probably half of what they really are. So, you know, when the Fed jawbones raising rates, even 50 basis points, look, there you go. That would bring it close to par if you're getting minus 59, okay? But let's take a look at it. I'm getting ahead of myself. And, well, anyways, just my opinion here. I think that whole narrative that the rates going up and even by 50 basis points or even a full point, even a year, in my opinion, are going to be insignificant and won't produce real yields in reality. Maybe on their bullshit paper it will, or their bullshit graphs or whatever, you know, made up graphs. Well, let's take a look at yesterday's video. I'd like to thank the Wall Street Reddit people out there, and I am also on Wall Street Reddit. You can find me as Because. See that? Because. B-E-K-U-S-Z. That's me. I post the videos out there all the time. There's my little thing there. So you can also catch me out there, ask me questions and stuff like that. Happy to answer. And again, I'd like to thank the Wall Street apes out there for doing what they do, and you will be rewarded, in my opinion, sir, gentlemen and ladies, and others. So let's take a look at what do I got going on here. Ted Butler, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to do this because that 800 million ounce short position is real. It exists. It's been acknowledged, and there's a lot of potential danger there, yet we see no mention of it. I typed in Bank of America and just kept it simple, put silver, and I did my search engine again to see if any corporate media or government officials or regulators are discussing this. Not a damn one. None of them. Look at this. So I'm kind of curious to see how this all turns out. And but again, look, nothing from, again, Silver Doctors, Silver Seek, Reddit, a lot of small people talk, you know, not small people, but it is not anywhere close to been in mainstream at all, hasn't even touched the imagination of mainstream corporate press. This is kind of scary, isn't it? This is going to cause big issues. I don't know. I got to get that email off to Ted Butler. Well, yesterday's video, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Hey, if you would, hit that share and like button and that save and that whatever button you want to hit. Who cares, actually? The like button is nice, and the subscribe button is even nicer. So I appreciate you doing that. And let me just do a quick, I'm going to answer some questions. I really apologize for not doing it yesterday, man. I've just been short on time. I even got this one done late today. Let me blow this. Ooh, blow it up too much there. Let me blow this up a little bit and scroll down and try to answer whatever questions I can and acknowledge all the fine folks that comment and watch my videos. Thank you very much. That's true. It did. Silver. I thought this. I thought the DMA was what was it? 200. I thought it was 2470. Let me take a look here. Well, I'll let you know on Monday. But maybe, yeah. And hey, thanks for watching. Tampa Go Time 76 Warrior. I appreciate that. G, what's up? War continues in the Middle East. I know, nothing good. Yemen tax capital UAE this past January. Gold and silver and gas are going up. Yep, things are going to get very interesting here, G. Nice to see you commenting, and thank you. Metals are skyrocketing, but I don't call it bubble so much as I call it equilibrium. It's funny you mentioned that, because I thought about that at some point. I thought, well, will metals get to a point where it's what we would call an equilibrium, a fair level for it to be based on the money supply and based on the inflation and based on the economy? But I don't know. All markets seem to at some point overheat a little bit, James. So I guess you're like me. We're going to find out, aren't we? Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate that. And with silver making gold crosses, the need to build support, or is at its own level of support? Why, when we see the Nasdaq drop, we see a rise in silver? I don't know. There's all kinds of similarities here. I was really surprised to see equity markets kind of get hammered like they have recently. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any alignment between silver going up when the Nasdaq's dropping. You can make a lot of comparisons when markets are moving in crazy form. So that I don't know. We're gonna look and find out together. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. And silver loving Lou, what's going on? Yeah, I know it's pretty freaking nice down here. Although believe it or not, I would love to see snow. It's been a long time since I've been in the snowy area, and I don't see it much, and I don't get cold weather. As long as I have a warm place to watch it from, it would be a nice break for me. Thanks for watching, Silver Loving Lou. And looks like the years of federal had hand-picked treasury appointments are behind the money. Yeah, I know. The system has been in a downhill spiral since 1913, David. The consumer buying power of the dollar has been in a spiral downward since 1913. And let me show you that real quick. It's pretty easy just by looking at this chart right here. Look, when did the Federal Reserve take over? Right there. There you go. January 1913 is the Federal Reserve officially taking over, when somehow they con their way into the American society's money supply. And there you go. That's just shows you where we're going. So absolutely can't argue with that at all. And it just gets worse and worse. I was actually going to post something about there when people get the vote free money, things have gone downhill as well. But thanks for watching. Hey, Joey, what's up? Thanks for watching, David. I appreciate it. And speaking of Joey, I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. Alex, thank you for watching. And the advantage of using JM Bullion, yeah, you mentioned that before. Is there military discount? I think that's pretty awesome that JM Bullion does give a military discount. So, but I'd love to give a military discount here as well, except my premiums are already small enough. So, and you know what? I give everybody a discount. That's why I beat their prices, JM Bullion, and I beat APMEX prices, and I beat the SD prices, because I am a very competitive guy that I want to make money on this stuff. So if I need to be competitive and beat other people's, that's what I do. But again, I get that. Military discount is really a great idea, and I got to give them a kudos for doing that. Thanks for watching, Joey. And here, it's funny, Dan, you said I went to check your site up, but got blocked because I'm in Canada. We've had some weird things going on with my website over here. I had a service attack out of Iran and a bunch of other places, as strange as that seems. But yesterday we had a service attack where they just kind of hit your website over and over and over. Our provider actually turned our site off for a little while and turned it back on, but that's not good for my business. And the reason that happened is because prior to that, I had blocked a lot of these places that I was getting service attacks from. Unfortunately, it might be Canada and other places. And we did VPNs as well. And I find out, and when I block VPNs, I'm blocking some local customers from viewing my site as well. So it's a catch-22. We did put the blocker on back again just recently, so maybe that's what you're saying. But we got to figure out with our providers on how to prevent service attacks somehow. Or I think what I'm going to do is go to a service that has multiple servers all over the country or world. In case one goes down, it'll go to the other. But thanks for commenting, Dan. I appreciate that. We're working on it. Miss Stanley Cat says after this reset, government will have some digital mechanism for commerce. It's maybe choose an existing crypto like Bitcoin or nothing, but once they put their system in place, every other crypto will be shut down. Absolutely eliminated completely. They will not allow competing multiple systems. I agree with that. Governments hate competition. Bankers who governments work for, hate competition even more. So I agree 100% with you. Joe has a question. The 800 million ounce silver position that BOA had was as of what date? Was it end of the third quarter for 2021? How do we know that they haven't covered a large part of their short positions past few months already? Great question. And again, if you heard me yesterday, I was saying I really need to find out, and I think Ted Butler is the best guy in the world to ask. I did mention I was going to ask yesterday and send an email. I haven't had a chance to do it. I'll try to do it today or tomorrow and have something for you by Monday. I'll keep my fingers crossed I'll remember. But excellent question, and that's something I did bring up as well. Thanks for watching, Joe. Let's see, Omar. I was lucky enough to get a ASE Monster Box for $8,400 in 2018. Do you think we will ever see these type of prices again? I doubt it. If we see the 2008 style collapse, which I don't think we're going to see the same type of collapse we saw in '08 where everything just cratered all at once. I think what we're seeing, even currently right now, is when buildings come down, buildings can come down and just wipe everything out all at once, or you can take a building down piece by piece by piece. I think the Fed and the government and Wall Street powers to be are trying to let this market slowly cycle down. And how long is slowly? I don't know. It could be, again, tough to say. We could see a crash overnight, and if we do see a crash overnight and not a sustained kind of fall over time, which is just as bad, then you could see precious metals fall like they did in 2008. Problem is you won't be able to buy anything at those paper prices except paper. Thanks for watching, Omar. I appreciate that, and I'll keep you informed. Rumble is better than, interesting. I'm going to find that out pretty soon. I'll be uploading some videos there as well. Akeisha says, new housing starts do not mean anything if you cannot sell them for a good profit. The market's already crashing. It'll get worse rapidly. Watch any of the presentations by Stephen Metra here on YouTube, and an eye-opener. Actually, I did. I went over and looked at him. I liked his presentation. He speaks well, and I watched one of his, started to watch one of his videos, so thanks for pointing that out, Akeisha. I appreciate that. And Cayetano Solar says, are the closing positions coming in line with Basel III Accord regulations? That I do not know, sir. I think really, again, I don't know. I couldn't give you an honest answer, and if I said anything, I'd be talking out my ass. So I'd be curious as that myself. If anybody knows, please put a comment in today's video. Alex says, don't you think it's quite rare for dollar earnings to go up and silver going up with it? Not really, kind of. I don't believe so, because silver kind of has been held, in my opinion, it's been held down artificially. It's been manipulated down for us a long time. At some point, that whole manipulation just ends. Whether CFTC makes the crooked COMEX stop these big positions from doing that, and maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe we're seeing some action by the CFTC, not allowing crooked COMEX to allow these big banks to monkey hammer the price of silver and gold down. So maybe we're seeing that now. Maybe we're just seeing the end of the manipulation. Maybe we're seeing JPM allowing that silver and gold to rise since they've accumulated such a large position. They're going to make out JPM for everybody that hates them and doesn't like them and blames them, rightfully so, for all the nasty shit they've done all these years. JPM is in the same position as most you silver and gold investors right now. They're waiting for the upside, and it's a mixed bag of blessings there, or not blessings, but it's a mixed bag there, whether to feel good or not about that. The fact that they've screwed so many people all these years, in my opinion, on their manipulative trades and monkey hammer and gold and silver markets, and they've been fined for it. They've been caught. They've never, too big to fail, too big to jail. They've never gone to jail for it, and here they are ready to make a huge profit on gold and silver as well. But the thing is that they're going to push it up. They're going to manipulate it to the upside just like they did the downside. And it's kind of hard to say you hate that, because we hate that. What we hate is the idea that they're going to profit from it, but you don't hate the idea that they're going to manipulate it to the upside. What a mixed bag of feelings that is, huh? Hey, thanks for watching, Alex. I appreciate it. Beaufort did short at 28 to 30 there, huge gains. Well, you're talking about the short positions that they had held last year. Seems they're trying to realize that they are fine till $36 an ounce, and that's a short position on the COMEX, all right? What Ted Butler is talking about is Bank of America literally borrowed 800 million ounces of silver, physical, probably sold it off, and owes that physical silver back to. That's not the same short position that you're talking about here. And Ted Butler says that 800 million ounces they borrowed is average around $23 per ounce price. And I think Ted Butler is absolutely spot on. He's been spot on about all this stuff. And if he was incorrect, we would see lawsuits thrown at him by, and he states that as well, by Bank of America, by Comex, by, they would not allow him to say this stuff. That is a different position. You're talking about probably a position on the Comex market, which they can roll over endlessly, my understanding. And Comex doesn't even have the physical silver on hand to do that because they seldom ever have to supply it. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, Flame Tungu. And let's see what else we got here. John asked me if I'm finding it desperately hard to obtain product like Andy Schechtman. Oh, yeah, I've heard that guy. Oh, okay, I think he does YouTube videos as well. No, I'm not really finding it hard. Actually, I'm well sourced when it comes to gold and silver. I think I'm better sourced than most people out there. I've just been doing this since I was a kid. I know dealers all over the country. I'm good at sourcing stuff like that. I've been in the retail and wholesale trading pits for a long time. Now remember, that's not paper. I'm not talking about paper or ETS. I'm talking about physical silver. I've been surrounded by real gold bars and silver bars and coins my whole life. So I know that product real well. And no, I'm not finding anything desperately hard to find, quite frankly, so I'm not quite sure what Mr. Schechtman is not be able to find at the moment. But no, we're not having any problems at all whatsoever, John. So I appreciate you commenting, and thanks for watching, man. It's only a beach report for like 2 minutes. Give me a break, Rich. Come on. I talk about the beach in the morning just for a couple minutes, like I said, just to break up the monotony of the day. And it's nice to look at something pretty besides an ugly chart all the time, you know. Also, my videos, they tend to go long. I am definitely not for the people with short attention spans, that's for sure. I can't tell you how many comments I've had that people want to see 10-minute videos or 5-minute videos, but that's kind of what we got out there today. We got short attention spans out there, and that's why we're in the trouble we are when it comes to economics, politics, and that kind of thing, because people have short attention spans. That's why CNN is so popular, Fox is so popular, because they can they can brainwash you with a narrative in like 3 minutes, a couple 3-minute reports, and you're toast. By the way, I shut news off in 2008. I told you guys that 100 times. The smartest thing you can do for your life is not watch corporate news. Turn it off. Turn that TV set off completely when it comes to news. Don't listen to those people. And Hager says, I noticed yesterday at PM stocks were all green. Most of the rest in the market was red. I love your channel. Hope you will begin to talk more about mining and royalty companies. Hager, I wish I could, but I would be a complete idiot if I was to, because I don't know them. The only thing I could do with mining and royalty companies is maybe discuss it, and I don't think I'd be teaching anyone anything, because again, it's not my it's not what I've done. But I would love to discuss it and talk and learn with you about it. That's a possibility. I would consider your opinion worthwhile because my finely tuned bullshit detector never goes off when you speak. See you on the silver side of the moon. Oh, thank you, Haggard. That's very nice of you to say that as well. Thank you very much. Joe, okay, come on, man. Too many numbers. Come on, man. Come on, man. I love that. I say that myself. It's pretty funny. Thanks for watching, Joe. There's a lot of speculation out there that when nobody is talking about where gold for silver bugs, crypto bugs, stock bugs, scientists have a speculation to that. The sun, solar flare. That's something, I was just talking about encryption being broken by supercomputers, There's also EMP, I think, that we need to worry about. If, say, for example, North Korea just say, hey, wait, fuck America. They blew off an EMP over the country, or a couple of them up high there. It could wipe out computers. It could, that's what we've been told. So, yeah, there's another downside to having your money in the ether world of the nether world of the interweb. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching and your questions. This is true. We don't need any more. What's good? What's war good for? Absolutely nothing. I think there's a song like that too. War. What's it good for? Absolutely fucking nothing. I agree with you 100%. Let's see here. Whatever happened to diplomats? We don't have diplomats anymore. Will they all die? Trixie, crypto's equal blue pill. Physical silver is the red pill. There you go. I can't argue with that either. Yeah, that's true. And Ron Smith, oh gosh, you caught me using Siri yesterday. Gosh, I like Siri better. I don't have to push any numbers, and getting that fucking calculator up on the screen is just as difficult. So that's why I don't. But yeah, I didn't screw up. I mean, Siri screwed it. Not Siri didn't screw up. I screwed up yesterday. Thanks for watching, Ron. And yeah, sorry, no, I'm too lazy to use the calculator. I'm gonna still use Siri. Have a good day, and thanks for watching again. Michael, what's up? Are there any dealers in Key West? No, there's not. And trust me, if I could make a living and move there, I'd have been there 20 years ago. Fishing, mostly. You've seen a sign on my door, gone fishing mostly, probably. But and given the amount of business down in the Keys for that type of stuff, yeah, I would have been fishing mostly, unfortunately. There's not a lot of business down there. I've known a few guys that have tried to do it, but that's something you would go down and retire and open a shop there and probably lose money opening a shop. But gosh, I could dig that. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate that. Well, I think we're at the end. I really appreciate everyone watching. And as you know, my theme for the year is think for yourself and question authority, even question yourself. That's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. We're a brick and mortar, local South Florida business only. So if you live in South Florida and if you want to drive as far as Central Florida, we are the place to be, man, when it comes to precious metals. Again, we don't deal online. Maybe someday I will, but right now we don't. And I do recommend that you shop from local dealers. Keep that money in town if you can. Keep it in your city, in your state. And as I said, I advertise to beat Atmex, JM, and SD Bullion for their commonly traded, reasonably priced silver products and gold products. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye now.